I'd say we're coming off of a decent day. If you spend any time on the river, there's a little bit of relief. Just make sure you do so safely. Use your SPF. Moving forward, we're going to get some mountain storms, so the clarity of the area rivers going to get a little murky with some of that runoff. But water temperature as of a couple hours ago at the Utah-Colorado state line for the Colorado River. Of course, this sponsored by Jet Boat Colorado, 71 degrees. Of course, river flow, 5,340 cubic feet per second. It was a little bit faster earlier in the day. So again, just exercise caution if you're going to be heading down to the rivers on your own, recreating. I'm looking off into the horizon, into the mountain zones for storms, and that's exactly what we have. Now, again, we're getting back into summer mode. We don't have hazardous weather. Yesterday afternoon, we had a flash flood watch for the majority of eastern Garfield County, and that does include the Glenwood Springs area, particular to the Grizzly Creek burn scar. And then last night, right around 6:15, that area went under, the Grizzly Creek burn scar, went under a flash flood warning. Now, as soon as that flash flood warning gets initiated by the National Weather Service, CDOT will close this stretch of I-70 as a safety precaution. Now, there were no debris flows. That closure was expected to go until 9 p.m. It actually was lifted about an hour and a half early. But for you, moving forward, when we talk about our day with flash flood watches, and it includes the Grizzly Creek burn scar, there's a high probability that we'll go under a flash flood warning, and an even higher probability, because it will happen, that the I-70 stretch from Glenwood Springs to Gypsum would shut down temporarily as a safety precaution. So just remember last summer, our shortcut up and down Colorado Highway 13 and Highway 9, just to get circumnavigated around I-70. Now, right now, storms at this hour are just kind of isolated along the divide. There's not much activity, but that wasn't the case earlier today. We did have some motion around the Gunnison County area. Gunnison itself experienced some pretty good downpours, and as such, moving through the evening hours, I'm going to be watching towards our northwest for any incoming storms from Utah that could represent a slight chance of showers locally. It would be brief, and more than likely, if those do develop and pass through, it'll be about lightning strikes and gusty wind speeds as a result. But I won't say the same thing for tomorrow, because we have better chances of rain showers Wednesday, Thursday, wrapping up the end of the work week. We're back in it, folks. Temperatures right now, mid-80s at Montrose, low 90s for several other locations. Not official for the high temperature of the day, but we fell shy of the averages, but you know, it's not too bad. Still, it is hot. It could be a lot hotter, and we're not setting records as well. We will return to some of this heat, and I'll share that with you in the extended forecast. But wind speeds right now pretty subdued, below the 10-mile-per-hour zone. Top wind gusts of the day around Delta at the 30-mile-per-hour zone, also in Pitkin County, 25. But most of those were storm-associated, brief gusts. Wind speeds between 15 and 20 as the top gust of the day. Now, if we do get some storms to pop up tonight, we could see an increase in that storm coverage. But our high pressure system is on the move. It's moving westward. So essentially, it's almost cutting off that Gulf of Mexico moisture tap. It still will be drawing up out of the northern Mexican mountains, the Sierra Madres, but this is going to drive storms through the borderland of El Paso, New Mexico, northern Mexico, into the land of enchantment further north around Albuquerque, and right into the Four Corners region this evening. That's where we're seeing some of this storm coverage tonight. Now, the high pressure system continues moving tomorrow a little bit to the west, and that essentially will cut off that Gulf of Mexico tap, and will only rely on the northern Mexican, partially from the Gulf of California. So this is not an ideal situation for our high pressure system to drive storms towards us. Now, we will get some storm coverage because you know what? High pressure system bumping into an incoming low pressure system off the west coast, a little bit of a squeeze play, so you should anticipate breezy conditions. But gusty storm associated wind blast also should be in the forecast tomorrow. Lightning strikes as well. Widespread rain showers, not just isolated to the Four Corners region, not just isolated to Arizona or New Mexico. So this high pressure system now starts to fade back towards our east, anchoring itself over the Red River Valley, over the southern states, and that gets us into a fairly ideal summer thunderstorm pattern. That North American monsoon with the low to the west, high to the east, driving up those showers and thunderstorms. I still think we'll see a few storms popping up tomorrow afternoon. Again, mostly towards the mountain zones. That'll be the rule of thumb. Midday through late afternoon, those showers will pop up. And if you're underneath or near one, you're going to feel the wind. You're going to see the lightning strikes. Lightning strikes present their own hazard because that is an ignition source. So in addition to flash flood warnings, we could be looking at very isolated severe thunderstorm warnings, but all of a sudden we'll be looking at wildfire starts from those lightning strikes. Hopefully we'll get a lot more rain showers in the forecast. We will trim back the temperatures for the late week period. We're going to try to go for a hot day tomorrow in Grand Junction. Mid-90s, that's where we should be, but with those storm clouds popping up, just like today, kind of put a back seat on our high temperatures. So not nearly as hot as we will be. We will return to the heat at the beginning of next week, and that's a long weekend for many of us. We still will look at this opportunity for showers and thunderstorms for the late week period, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Cannot rule them out under this pattern when we have that low, say it with me, to the west, high, say it with me, to the east. That'll drive up those storms from multiple source regions. So while it's not difficult to forecast storm coverage, we know that we're going to see a lot more widespread showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow, for Thursday. Look to the mountains, but be careful traveling through those mountain zones. And then, of course, this late weekend, early next week period, we will be dealing with even more showers and thunderstorms. So I expect a lot more rain than what we see on the forecast icons. You should too. And remember, traveling I-70, you need to check in with our website, westernslopenow.com, or alternately, check with CDOT for any closures through the Glenwood Canyon area.